It's been a minute since I made a video again, and seems like lately the only videos I make are when I run into issues. So I've been trying to get this 351 or 408 Windsor assembled. If you follow me, you probably know I already got the pistons installed, and obviously the cam, timing set, crank, and trying to get this fancy DSS racing billet girdle installed. And I'm running into all sorts of issues, and I'm hoping someone else has used one of these that can give me some advice. I don't have the part numbers handy for the pickup tube I'm using or the pan I plan to use, but it's technically a rear sump, but it's like a Fox body twin sump, like little front and main rear sump for a Mustang 2 kit on an old Mustang. So the issue I'm running into first is these nuts here are 9/16. The first issue, of course, is these are tapered nuts. I wish they actually came with some cheap nuts for sizing stuff, because these are lock nuts. These are the type that are mechanical lock. They're tapered threads at the end, or I don't remember what it's called, but they put a notch in the end to make it grab to prevent it from backing off. And when you're test fitting this stuff together and constantly tightening it down and removing, it will start to gall up the threads some. I don't know if you can see that. Not really necessarily gall them, but it starts to eat at the threads. Anyways, I had to run a dye over the threads to clean them up afterwards, because they kept wanting to cross thread essentially, or mingle the threads. But anyways, the main issues I'm running into is, so the way this is installed is you have to assemble the pickup tube to the oil pump, and then you fit it on at the same time you lower the girdle down. And the reason for that is this little tab here goes underneath. The first issue I encountered is they say if you don't have a tab that goes underneath here, then you have to use an included spacer. Now my machine shop was so nice to lose this spacer, so I had to guess at what the size was. Actually, I called them and asked. They told me they were pretty sure. Well, first they said it was in the instructions. It's not. It just says silver spacer. So if you have to make one like I did, essentially, or, well, I'm using the tab, so if you had to figure out what the size is, you'd have to just kind of mic it out, or use a caliper and figure it out, which I did. But they told me it was about 100, or it was right at 100 thousandths was the spacer size. So the spacer that's included with the girdle is 100 thou, which means this little tab also had to be 100 thou. Sadly, it's not. It's about 130, 140 thou. So I had to sand or grind on it to get it down to size, so the girdle didn't teeter-totter, rock back and forth. So that's issue number one that I had to fight with, because it's, like you can see, it's machined underneath there for that to fit. Issue number two, you can't get socket to this, sorry, camera, can't get a socket to this one because the pickup tube crossed inside of it. Well, have no fear, we have a wrench. Can't get a wrench to it because of this and this. Can't remove this scraper because of this. I can't get anything to that. There's no way to get that out. I guess the top view. You can't even get this little drill bit tip in there. Can't remove this because of the girdle. And around we go. Not only that, I don't know if the machining wasn't done right on this top scraper, but socket fits, socket fits, socket doesn't fit. It is not machined right. So I'm gonna have to pull this all apart. Luckily I bought a mill recently, and I can mill this and these two that are also the same thing. Won't fit. Won't fit. So I can mill these out a little bit more with an end mill. These obviously are clear. That one's clear. This one's a pain because you have to leave the oil pump loose, but then you can get to this with a regular wrench. But these three are gonna have to be milled. This one, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do with it, other than if I shave off this lip, it's gonna weaken this spot here where this is milled back, where there's not gonna be a whole lot of connecting material here if I take this corner off, which I might be able to just knock this corner off like right about like that much. Or if I were to take this piece and shave it down flat like this section and just bring it back to about right here, close to where this M is. I don't know how weak that'll make that section, if that's acceptable. I might have to share this video with DSS and see what they recommend. So far, their customer support's been fairly helpful, other than a lot of the stuff they told me is all the typical answer of aftermarket parts is there's too many variances to make it work for everything. You just have to modify it to make it work. Well, for the average consumer that doesn't have a mill at their house, it's not really a viable solution. I feel like they could have spent a little bit of money. I'm sure they make a chunk to, or they have enough people that work for them or people that they sell to that they could make a discount for them to test fit products for them and tell them what the issues are, so they could report back and, you know, R&D it. You know, a little bit of research and development goes a long way. But that's the issue I'm having with this beautiful piece of hardware. I would love to bolt this on, but this is day 3 of trying to make this happen, and it is just not going well. So I'm about to bag this and stop fighting it for the time being, because it's got me a little bit irritated, and I definitely don't want to go start trying to machine this thing. 1, without talking to DSS and see if they have a recommendation that's easier, and 2, while I'm a little bit tilted, because it's just frustrating, if you know what I mean. But this one's going to be the biggest pain, for sure. I feel like these could have been placed a little better. I don't know. Like maybe, I don't know if there's any reason it couldn't go all the way to the back, but I feel like if it would have gone here, 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 just 2, 2, 1, and then 2 bolts here, this would have been a whole lot easier to get to. Or even if they could have been, I don't know if you'd want to do a surface mount hex bolt. Maybe it's clearance purposes that it's like that. I don't know, but that's where I'm at. I've got all the parts to assemble this thing, and I'm currently held up by this. Not sure what that is. Don't know if I scratched that, machine chopped it or what, but anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. And if anyone has any recommendations or has encountered this issue I'm running into and has a suggestion, I'm open ears. Otherwise, I'll be calling DSS Monday to see what they have to say. Thanks for watching.